Am I alive? I think I'm alive. Hey, everybody. Let's get this clipped on. How's everybody doing today? Somebody say hello to me so I know I'm working here, will you? All right. It's a beautiful day here in the neighborhood. I'm Mike Meyers, and I'm saying hello. Hey, Daniel, good to see you. I always want to start with a slow. We always start so slow. We only have like just a very few number of people on right now, so we're going to stall here for a minute and let a few more people log in. I had a really amazing talk with, I don't remember this guy's name. Let me look it up real quick. Dave, what was that guy's name? I'm not trying to make a big push for him, just it's nice to be able to type in Mike Meyers spelled properly, and I'm actually showing up on things instead of the dumb, just knock on wood there, boy. There we go. Search instead for Mike Meyers. There we go. Look at me, I'm right on top. Where is it? Here it is. In fact, let me just put this up on the screen so you guys can see this. I had a really good talk with this kid. So it's IT interview with Mike Meyers at Total Seminars channel. I already forgot this young man's name. This is so embarrassing. Kevin Apollinaro. Kevin, if you're watching this, I'm embarrassed. Kevin Apollinario. There we go. Anyway, so it was on Saturday, and we're just having a little chat, Kevin and I, and if you like the classic Mike Meyers getting excited and constantly rubbing his nose, boy, do you have an episode you should watch. You guys probably don't need it, but what I'd really recommend, if you got anybody who's looking for a career in IT or is, especially looking to get absolutely started from the very beginning, I was on a roll. So I think it was a heck of a show, and I can't recommend it enough. So there, it's a IT interview with Mike Meyers at Total Seminars channel. Go ahead and minimize that. And it was fun. Had a good time. Thank goodness I'm wearing a different shirt. I got too many NASA meatball shirts. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, do you ever change clothes? Well, every Wednesday, need it or not, man. That's me. So Dave, we got... who's showing up on Wednesday? Is Steve finally going to make it? After almost a month of delays, a poor guy. Thank you, David. After Brittany. Hey, Brittany, how you going, babe? Crazy Homebody Girl, man. All the ladies are here. That's great. I never understood why guys would have a problem with ladies in IT. I mean, guys smell bad, I mean, more gals. As long as you can do the work, that's all I ask. But Andre's building Legos. Excellent. Even has the set number for us. Good to know that. But that was, so seriously, Dave, is Steve coming on this Wednesday after a long delay? I'll wait. I'm sure Dave will give us an answer there in just a moment on that particular topic. Yeah, that's about it. So anyway, it was a cool talk with this Kevin guy. I don't really know him from Adam, but he seems to have a good get into IT and get a job program, and he posts a lot on LinkedIn, which is what really caught my eye. And it was just one of those fun ones where I got to pontificate a little bit more. So on the same token, speaking of pontification, it seems that National Cyber Group is going to be lighting up a TikTok for me. Let's not get into the politics of TikTok. Dave Rush is about ready to put me in a half Nelson on this. But what I like it, and I'm hoping we'll start maybe even this week, I like it because the little short aspect of the TikToks allow me to basically tell, probably you all have heard half of these stories already, just little anecdotes from my years in the business and little phrases I have and all that. Yes, Steve is on Wednesday. Good to see that. I wish we could get a hold of Zam. That poor guy was asking for this a month ago, and we're finally getting around to him. But I'm thinking this TikTok might be fun. The nice part about it is I could just put it up to my face, do a quick bit on whatever is of interest to me at any given moment, and we'll see what happens from there. But as soon as I have a link for that, I'll point it to you. And yes, you will hear some of the same jokes you've heard here before, but you know what? I'll be wearing a beautiful wig, so why not? Okay, I'm kidding. I'm not going to wear a wig, but... so that's coming up. The other thing that's coming up is I've been dealing with, working with CyberNow Labs with our upcoming cohort. They use me as the go get 'em kind of guy, so it's actually kind of interesting that that takes place. Brittany, TikTok is a derivative of Vine. It is derivative of Vine, I would agree with that, but you know, they've got their own little shtick going, so we'll see how that goes. I'm hope springs eternal, guys. You want to start yawning right away, because, you know, would it be a Mike AMA without me yawning and rubbing my nose? I don't think so. What else we got going down? Back on the diet, doing pretty good there. My buddy Jessica's been helping me out there quite a bit, basically just keeping me on the straight and narrow. Oh, the other thing to watch out for, and again, you got to be on LinkedIn to see this stuff. If you're not following me on LinkedIn or connecting with me on LinkedIn, you're really making a mistake, guys, because me and Richard Chapman of CyberNow Labs are doing what we call Two Bald Nerds. And it's been a lot of fun doing this particular program. And you should be tuning in on it. It's a different way to go. I understand it's not YouTube, but it could be something you might find yourself very interesting. In particular, you're going to be watching my path to get up to speed to what enterprise level security really means. I mean, I can say the words, but that doesn't mean I really know what I'm talking about. And Richard is an instructor at CyberNow Labs, very sharp young man. And I'm looking forward to learning more and more from him. I'll probably eventually actually join a cohort and give you guys an idea of what it's all about. But do check that out, Two Bald Nerds, and just watch for us on LinkedIn, or just follow me on LinkedIn. You'll see him. It was fun. We actually had a big talk. We had done a Soho versus enterprise concept of malware. And so I was asking, so what does a enterprise do about malware? And so they start talking about SIM and Splunk and IBM Q Radar and all these super high-end, very expensive tools. And that in enterprise environments, it's pretty common, A, to not even have anti-malware on individual host machines. You totally handle that at enterprise level. I was surprised. I just always assumed that there would be 2 levels of defense, but that's not the case. The other thing that really blew my doors off was when we're talking about this enterprise level stuff, the concept of anti-malware doesn't even really mean anything. So really what we're talking about are SIM solutions. Oh, good Lord. SIEM, I forget what it stands for. You know me in acronyms. But what made it interesting is that they basically have SIM tools, ready? SIM tools, EDR tools, which is endpoint detection and response, and then email. Email being corporate, it's easier to deal with phishing and spam and all that type of stuff at a mail server level than to have individuals deal with it. Okay, I can buy into that. But EDR versus SIM is kind of interesting, because EDR is more of the anti-malware, the stuff that's happening at the endpoints. So I just thought that was a very cool way. So SIM is looking at naughtinesses and things that are happening to the network in general, whereas EDR could almost be considered as like super anti-malware. This was all new information for me. The other interesting thing, well, there's a couple of things that came up. One of the interesting things that came up was, well, what do you do about phones? Or what do you do about IoT? And the answer is, they don't. enterprise level tools like this assume that you have other things to take care of that kind of stuff, which I found interesting. I've also understand that anything can change at any given moment. And here's the last thing I learned, and this was on Friday, is that SNMP, good old SNMP, is basically not even used, at least in terms of Security Operations Center. It's not a tool that's used. SNMP very much has a place where if you're worried about a bad network card or a switch or a router, but not so much naughtiness as just the overall maintenance and taking care of a network. So that surprised me. In fact, the two tools that you're going to see in SIM more than anything else are going to be good old syslog, running on port 514, and NetFlow, which I literally know nothing about. I can say the word on a camera and that's about it. So I see myself working at this for a good little bit before I get to the point where I can do any pontification. But it's an interesting process, and I'm having fun doing it. All right, so I think we got a quorum. Let's go ahead and get started. This may be a shorter day today, folks, depending on how many questions we have. So we start here at 2 o'clock, and YouTube Shorts is better. Daniel, we may end up doing both, brother. We'll see what happens. I'm trying to work with my marketing director, and wow, there's a lot to marketing when it comes to doing online stuff, because as a marketing person, she wants to know what campaigns are successful and which aren't, and what do people like and dislike, and all these demographics and information. And so it's like, I can't just do a video. They have to plug in behind the scenes numbers and things that they track on their stuff. So it's going to be interesting. Tolowit, if you're going to be on TikTok, I think the rule is that you have to twerk. Because I love you, I will never, ever do that to you. Ever. Okay, everybody, so basically, here's what's happening right here. The goal of this entire AMA, it's called Ask Mike Anything. The goal is to provide those of us who are studying by CompTIA certifications an opportunity to ask me questions. So we start at 2 o'clock, and we run till 3 o'clock or until the questions run out. So we've run an hour and a half sometimes. We've run, I think the shortest we ever did, Dave, was like 23 minutes. But so it's important that you ask questions. To ask questions, just type them into the chat window, and I'll answer them for you. It's that easy. Mr. G's here. Oh, there's a new face. Norzana Yasmin. I took the $20 CompTIA A+ course. Yasmina, which $20 A+ course? One of mine? If it was one of mine, was it on Uudemy, or was it on LinkedIn, or was it from another one of my distributors? Did you get it from hub.totalsem.com? Was it a competitor's course? Did you see? I have some excellent competitors, good folks. Jason Dion and Professor Messer, good folks. So it's a little hard for me to answer that question, Norzina, just with that. So I took the $20 A+ course. Is the certificate included with it, or do I have to purchase additional voucher from Total Seminar's website? Ooh, okay. You need a little education here, okay? I train for IT certifications, as well as many other trainers. When you take one of my courses, and since you said $20, yeah, it was Uudemy, that's what I was about to say. So you took a course on Uudemy. That certificate that you got shows that you finished my course. You still have to get certified, okay? And Norzima, to get certified, you're going to have to get a voucher, buy a voucher. What did you say, A+? So that's going to be a few $100s. You have to buy 2 vouchers because there's 2 exams. There's the 220-1101 and the 220-1102. You have to buy 2 vouchers, and you're going to have to pass before you get certified, okay? So keep in mind, Rosita, the only thing I'm doing is providing the training for it. I am not the certifying body. That is the Computer Technology Industry Association, administers the CompTIA A+ exams, and then you have to go. Dave, point Norzima to the place where she can get the where she can sign up for the exams. I can never remember all that stuff. Ruptured 121. Hi, I've been watching your Udemy A+ 1001 course. Only realized there's a new one. How different is the new versus the old? And this is from Ruptured 121. It's about 20-30% different. The big difference between the 1000 series, which is the 1001, 1002, versus the 1100 series, which is the 1101, 1102, to me, it's more what they've taken out than what they put in. The only, whoops, am I still on? Boy, I just hit the keyboard. I was seeing I signed myself off. The only reason that we're keeping the 220-1001, 220-1002 on Udemy is to make sure that there is a small group of, well, at least to this American, foreign countries that still allow people to take it. But that's a very small number. If I had my way, I would just take the 1001, 1002 off of all of our distributors, but there is a surprising number of people who fit under extremely specific criteria. Don't ask me what that criteria is. You can look it up on the CompTIA.org website, but yeah, it's a little frustrating, and you're not the first person to say that. Tolowit, are you going to pick up the Cooler Master Orbex gaming throne? It'll match your new PC setup. Nah, I'm in good shape. In fact, I'm embarrassed to say that my new box is going to be reduced to a Microsoft Office system for a while. I actually went ahead and already yanked out the video card because it would be a waste on that system. So it probably means I'm going to have to build up yet another box. Woohoo! Yeah, or probably what I'll do is build up another box. Let me get this right. I'm going to buy a small case. I'm going to put a lower end system in there that's good. And then I'll use that for the Office system. That's the way to handle this. Either that, I might even get a laptop. I don't know. Daniel, taking Network Plus right now. Would the glossary be a good resource to help me make flashcards? Sure, absolutely. My problem, Daniel, is that I'm really against flashcards. It's not that I say they're bad per se. They're okay. If there was like a flashcards for port numbers, right? And then a flashcard for wireless standards, and then flashcards for different kinds of RAM, I'd almost rather that than when we kind of pile that all together. Look, everybody has their own learning methodology, and I'm not trying to shoot anything down here. I, Mike Meyers, popular author, don't like flashcards. So, Daniel, make me a bunch of flashcards. We'll work out a deal. I'll sell them. We'll talk about that. I get in trouble when I say stuff like that. All of a sudden, somebody hands me 500 flashcards and goes, can I have $10,000? Not how it works. Call me, Daniel. Speaking of calling me, let's go ahead and get, everything is slow today. I don't know why. Anyway, give me a holler. My email address is michaelm@totalsem.com. I am also known as Senor Pepe on Steam and other gaming platforms. And my nom de plume is Desweds. So I'm Desweds at just about anything you could possibly imagine. Desweds at Hotmail, Desweds at Gmail, Desweds. So it's an easy way to get a hold of me. I think I'm even Desweds on World of Warcraft. All right. Yeah, Ruptured 121. I'm sorry about that, man. I don't really have any control on that. It's very frustrating for me. Tolowitz, send me the card. It will up. Sorry, buddy. Good try. Mike, has anyone taken the new A+ with 80 questions instead of 90? No. Dave Rush, have you heard about this? Now you're going to make me do some instantaneous research. I want to get it from CompTIA. Oh, Pearson would be good. No, that wouldn't be good either. I'm going to have to do some research on this. I'm unaware of this. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Mike, I don't have any answers on that. So we will look into it. Mike, did you do okay? You know, that's the more important thing. Dave Rush agrees with you. Man, you guys should have told me. I've been saying 90 questions. I did not realize that they reduced it. Oops. No. So Mike on YouTube land, do you see Dave Rush is asking you some questions there? Hey, Patricia Grace, it's your birthday today. Happy, happy birthday, baby. You were told it was 90 questions, everything included. Okay, well, then maybe that, I can't believe there'd be 10 performance-based questions. And I got to be honest with you, I took the 1101, 1102 like almost a year ago before it came out. And I didn't even think to look on anything like that. Well, Mike, you passed. That's the important thing. Big round of applause to you there, mon frere. Are we allowed to ask questions without asking them? I have a weird question about the new tech. Brittany, you know, you can ask any question you want here as long as you keep it clean is the only thing I ask. But feel free. So Mike, you think it was 6? This is interesting. Mike, this is one of these questions I could probably go over to CompTIA.org and in about 3 minutes get the answer. But unfortunately, I'm going to bore you while we're doing that. So somebody be a pal and head over to CompTIA.org and take a look at the information for the current A+ and see if they straight up say 80 questions. I would like to see that. It's just a good thing to know. Hey, Joey, good to see you, man. Dave Rush, it's 90 questions max. Okay. The more performance-based questions you get, the less multiple choice questions you get. Okay. Dude, they're not going to get anybody in trouble. There's no evil here, man. It's just a bunch of nerds working together to try to get certified. All good. Oy. So I'm about to throw Microsoft Office into the garbage permanently. So I've got the problem with Office, well, I mean, don't get me started. I'm extremely disenfranchised with Microsoft Windows these days. I don't think Microsoft Windows is really interested in being an operating system anymore. I feel that Microsoft Windows has turned into a data mining company with an operating system to get you hooked. And part of the reason that I'm not upgrading to Windows 11 is that Microsoft is trying to compel me to not use local user accounts. And I find that incredibly frustrating with Windows 11. There was a way to get around it, and then with patch 22H2, they got rid of it. There's supposed to be a command line that you can run to get around this. None of this is on the A+, guys, but just talking tech for a minute. I don't have any copies of Windows 11 working for a living. I got one VM. That's about it. Abkar, just ask the question, man. Go for it. Okay, thanks, Tolowit. Maximum of 90 questions per exam. Appreciate it. I got a new PBQ question on the test. I kind of thought it was crazy labeling question. Have you heard about the new PBQ questions? Well, Brittany, you're right. I do not want to talk about exact questions on here or anywhere. We can't do that. But you can discuss topics. You know, this question talked a lot about 802.11ax, and I found that confusing. You know, you can say something like that. What you can't say is, what is the maximum throughput for a 4x4 802.11ax wireless access point? You understand? That's an exact question. So, Brittany, as long as you're, Brittany, the other thing you can do is, you got my phone number, Bib, just text it to me and we can talk offline. That's probably the best thing to do. Yeah, Dave's absolutely right there. Hey, Ali, good to see you, man. So yeah, Windows 11 is frustrating. I am seriously looking at going to Linux and moving over to LibreOffice or something like that. It's way too much. To have an operating system post advertising on my screens is wrong. To have an application put advertising on a window is wrong. If you give it to me for free, then I'll take some advertising. That's fair. But if you're asking me to pay $100 and whatever bucks for, Windows 11 Pro, and then you put ads on top of it, I'm very frustrated. LibreOffice is good. I like it. Brother Michael. Hey, Mike Meyers. Hey, Brother Michael. Patricia Grace. I'm in 100%. Yeah, I think, Patricia, we're all pretty much in agreement on that these days. It's extremely frustrating what I'm seeing with Windows these days. We used to joke about software as a service, and now it's a thing. It's what are you going to do, right? Wow, Dave, you really put some weird ones in there. Brother Michael, Kent again. Okay, I got the song reference there, Dave Rush. Very good. All right, so guys, seriously, we need to have, let's get some questions in here today. Abkar, in the exam, which exam? Don't just say the exam, Abkar. I don't know which one you're talking about. A+, Net+, Security+? Are there any subnetting calculation questions? On the A+, there are some extremely simplistic ones that you do need to understand conceptually what subnetting is, but it's actually very easy. On the Network Plus, there are some pretty aggressive ones. But again, if you watch my subnetting videos, I don't think it's that hard. I think people get really wound up about subnetting and shouldn't be. And then Security Plus, they don't necessarily have subnetting questions. They have security questions that includes subnetting as part of your understanding. So, and none of them, even the Net Plus isn't that hairy. It's just not that big of a mess. In fact, there's a lot of talk about, maybe IPv4 subnetting is going the way of the dodo. I'll tell you one thing, IPv6, on the rare occasions when you do need to do subnetting in IPv6, it's a lot easier than it used to be. You're not sitting here converting an octet to binary, moving the ones and the zeros one way or the other and then putting it back. So there is talk that teaching people to do IPv4 is like teaching kids how to write cursive. It's just not really done anymore. Aaron Fox, hi Mike, thank you for all your efforts to educate us. What do you do professionally in IT at the moment other than teaching? It's all I do is teach, man. Those who can't, right? No, I'm kidding. Really the big thing I'm doing these days is working for my new boss, National Cyber Group. I'm a vice president of marketing, and which basically consists of me doing a lot of promotional videos and talking to schools and making sales calls. So, yeah, it's a busy day. The big challenge for me more than anything else is my move from small mom and pop into a corporate environment. And I'm just, I'm not a corporate person. I'm learning to be one. I'm trainable. But it's a different universe. And we're working on it. We'll leave it at that. I'm Root. I'm Root. I thought it was Groot. Hey, Mike, just had a great interview for a help desk specialist. Excellent. That's where we start. They loved me and even called me on the drive home. Really? The interviewer's boss wants to interview me himself. Well, I'm Root. You did something to impress him. Be sure to tell him that you're a big fan of Mike Meyers training. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Just talk about the job. Talk about, yet you have integrity, that you have persistence, and that you are a person who can count on being at the right place at the right time. Marvin, what about processors with subscriptions? What? Marvin, I don't understand your question, Monfair. Processors? What do CPU and Marvin, I've read one article about this. That buying a CPU, you have to buy it by subscription. I don't even want to. Oh, I got chest pains, Marvin, and it's all your fault. Oh my gosh, what world are we coming to, man? Look, I'll pay for subscriptions. I pay for all kinds of subscriptions. I like paying for subscriptions for products that need to be subscribed to. A subscribed to product is something that changes on a regular basis, and therefore the subscription is necessary in order for it to work. I don't need a subscription to Office. I can use the Office that exists. As long as it opens and saves docx files, I don't really care about anything else. So for me, the concept of a software subscription, software as a service, for something that what I get works as it is not subject to change, I'm going to not want to pay a subscription. I pay a subscription to the New York Times because that's constantly changing, and I want to pay a subscription to that. They've come up with new ways to get more money out of us, is what it boils down to, and it's a little bit frustrating. Well, let me give you a great example. I refuse to buy Adobe just to be able to manipulate PDFs. So every time I got to manipulate a PDF, I'm going back online and trying to find some free PDF editor. And I've been doing this for a long time, and it can be a very frustrating process. I had to sign some papers. I had to form a couple of LLCs this week, and I got to sign them, right? So it's got to be electronically signed. So I just go online, free PDF editor, boom, and I saw something called Saido, S-A-I-D-O. I was like, oh, that looks good, yeah. And by gosh, so I had about 8 documents that I needed to sign, and the first 3 were great, and then I tried to do the 4th one, and it goes, sorry, that's all you get for free. And I'm just like, I gotta get this done. So they got $5 out of me for 1 week subscription to this thing. Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. Darius Rubin, studying the Network Plus material, will it help prepare for the CCNA? More than you can possibly imagine, Darius. The Network Plus is almost the CCNA without all the iOS goobity-gok. But what makes the Network Plus, in my opinion, almost necessary for CCNA is that at least CompTIA is vendor neutral. When you go into CCNA, you're going to get the impression that they invented VLANs. Maybe they did, maybe they don't, I don't know. You're going to get the impression that how they do VLANs is how all VLANs should be done. It is many common protocols are extremely warped into the zeitgeist of whatever you're looking at. Cisco's probably the worst at it than anybody else. I'm not saying it's wrong. It is skewed. So the problem you run into is if you learn DHCP from Cisco, it's really hard to understand DHCP in a more neutral way. It's very hard to find yourself setting up a DHCP server and say Windows Server, which has an excellent DHCP server in it, and being able to wrap your head around it. So yeah, I think Network Plus, it's not required. You can take CCNA from scratch. Cisco still has their Network Fundamentals. I'm not sure that's the name anymore, but that little precursor cheapy class, which is designed to get you up to enough speed so you can begin speaking the lingo of Cisco. Ching, 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 ching. That's me in a cult. When I do that, that means I'm a cult. And Cisco is in a kind of way a cult. I am rude. I'm just a sponge once I get in. Yeah, me too, man. I understand. Daniel, Net Plus. The part that confused me was that I thought wherever there was a number other than a 0 on the subnet, the IP had to be the same as the network ID. only for local calls, right? Remember the whole idea of a subnet mask, not a subnet mask. A subnet mask is a string of ones followed by a string of zeros. Your network card uses a subnet mask to determine if a packet that's going out, is this packet being sent to somebody in my broadcast domain where everybody has the same 192.168.4 whatever? Or does it have to go out to the world? And here's the thing that people really should pay attention to for subnets, at least at a host level. You know the only thing a subnet mask does? It tells the network card either to go ahead and ARP and get the MAC address for a local Ethernet device, and then it'll get that way, or does it put the MAC address of the router in there so that the router gets it? People think when they talk about subnets that it's somehow changing the packets. It's not. The only thing a subnet does is creates a subnet mask and a routing table so that individual hosts can tell if something's a local call and it just gets broadcast out to the network, or is it, well, not necessarily always broadcast, right? If it's a switch, it would go straight to it. Or does it get sent to the router? And the only thing that changes is the Ethernet MAC address. The IP packet doesn't change. It doesn't change the IP address where it's going to or anything like that. I know that trips people out. The one place where subnet masks really come into play is in a router. Because a router, imagine a router as a box. I've always tried to draw an animation to do this, and I've never had much luck. But imagine a box, okay? And on one side of the box are wires going out to different local area networks, okay? And so data comes in to this, it doesn't matter which port it comes in on. This is a router with 3 ports, okay? I know everybody thinks routers only have 2 ports because those are the ones you use at home. No. Real routers can have lots of ports. And so the packet comes in and it falls into like this hopper, to me is what it looks like. And in the hopper, I visualize it going through the routing table, looking for something that lines up for the destination address for the IP address. And whatever it sees when it shoots it out that port, whatever it might be. And if it gets to the bottom, there's your default route and it goes out that whatever your default route port is. Man, I should be able to do an animation on that. I've tried for years. I just keep failing. Somebody come up with an animation that I just described like that and make things move and make conveyor belts. I'll pay you $100. I'm serious. If I don't like it, I won't pay you $100. Remember that too. So Daniel, I don't know if I answered your question or created confusion, but I had a little bit of fun going on a rant there because that's my raison d'etre. Brother Michael, tips for the Network Plus exam. Brother Michael, it's always the same 3 things, man. Number 1, get some good instruction, which is either going to be instructor-led training or a good video. Number 2, you need reference. Get a book. Number 3, you need to challenge yourself, and that means practice questions. You use those 3 tools. Brother Michael, how you use those tools is up to you. If you're asking me, what are the 7 things I need to study about? If there was only 7 things to study about, my books would be that thick, okay? You got to study it all. That is a list of everything that you need to study to pass the Network Plus, and that's why we call it a book, okay? And what's more important, Brother Michael, is how you use these tools. And this is up to you. I don't know you, all right? Let me tell you how Mike Meyers does it. I watch a video, I watch 1 chapter at a time. I read the book to cross-reference, see things that tie in, and then I'll usually go 5 or 6 times like this. So I'll get up to like chapter 5 or 6, and each time I'm going through a video first, then a book, and then after a few chapters, then I go to practice questions. I like to have it mixed up. Now, one of the reasons I hope that people like my stuff is my videos and my books and my practice questions all kind of tie into each other. And it helps people do backwards references. That doesn't mean you can't use other people's stuff. That doesn't mean that other people might not have a better way of doing it. I don't think so. But it's really up to you. Brother Michael, the thing you got to do, mon frere, is that you've got to understand what kind of learner you are. You can always know you're doing it the right way because you keep at it. If you find yourself studying for 3 minutes and going back to your YouTube videos, you're probably picking a poor study methodology for you. So you got to experiment. There are people who read the entire book. That's all they do. They read the entire book and then they use the videos as a way to visualize things better. And then they do practice questions. There are people who do book video questions, book video questions, book video questions. There are some people like, I've got to be able to do this, Mike. So if we're talking virtual machines, I'm going to set up a virtual machine. Yeah, I can watch a video. Yeah, I can read a book. But what I really want to do is do it. Kinesthetics is what we call that. And everybody's going to be different, Brother Michael. Experiment. These are the first certifications of your life. And hopefully, you're going to be getting a lot more certifications. So use these baby certifications as a tool set to establish the study habits that are perfect for Brother Michael. Amen? How is my 4000 series NVIDIA GPU? It's overpowered. To be honest with you, I'm not pushing it very hard. I bought this as a vanity thing. If I were to go back in time, I'd probably go back even to a 2000 series, given the level of gaming that I do. That's the important thing. I don't do any games that are graphically intensive. I'm not doing Blender, so I'm not doing videos where the rendering can be handled by the GPU. It's overkill for someone like me, and no Tolowit, I'm not going to give it to you. I hear that AMD and Intel might go the car route, selling the CPU locked at a lower speed with unlockable upgrades for a monthly fee. Yeah, that's going to be a disaster. Yeah, Tolowit and TD, you guys are talking about the same thing. I like a subscription to have AC. Yeah, me too. I live in Texas. Nurzana, you don't have to ask me. Just type the question in. I'll answer them gladly. That's what I'm here for. So, Nurzana, just ask. And by the way, Nurzana, there's not only me, but you got Dave Rush in the background here. He's an excellent tech. We've got a bunch of folks on here who are also great techs. So don't be afraid that I'll always try to answer, but you might find that somebody else will answer it even faster than me. But stop asking and start asking questions. That's what I'm here for. Ali, I'm from Algeria. Algeria. I would like to know your opinion on finding remote jobs that like help desk. It's harder than you think. Ali, Algeria is just a country that I know so little of. I know where it is on a map, unlike most Americans. What I do, well, let's make some assumptions here, and maybe I can give you a partial answer. What you probably need to be looking for is Algerian companies that do the insourcing, I guess, for that type of work, and see what's out there. I'm very much anti-remote work. I hate it. Hear me out, and then I'll get back to what your issue is. And that is, back in the old days, if me and Dave had a little something or something kind of cool, I could just pop my head over the QB and go, hey, Dave, ba, 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 you know, and that's kind of faded out. That spontaneous creativity that only really takes place when people are physically next to each other. I can't get a hold of people in my new company because I have to set an appointment to ask a question. And I don't think it's a good way to do business. I think it's a mistake. Now, are there situations where remote can work? Absolutely it can. There are plenty of situations where it can work. But it makes you a vacuum. And I think because so many of us are a little Asperger-y, a little introverted anyway, it hurts. It hurts us in terms of our personal development. I don't want to sound like an old guy too much, but one thing that's very frustrating to me about young people, and when I say young, I'm under 30, is that they lack social graces. They don't know how to talk about stuff. They're insensitive in what they say. They don't maintain eye contact. They can be rude, and they're not trying to be rude. They're lovely people, and they're smart techs. I'm not even writing a challenge skill set, but I fear this universe of remote workers. Didn't they make a Bruce Willis movie about this, where you present yourself in a way that you don't really exist? You know, one of the big things that people say, well, Mike, I don't want some company that owns me on a 2-hour commute. Well, then don't work for a company that's 2 hours away. You know, I would never commute that far. There is no situation. Well, I get free rent. Yeah, but you're putting 4 hours of your life on the road every day? Forget it. That doesn't even make sense to me. It's the only job I could find. Well, look more. Again, look, I understand there are situations where remote work can be very beneficial to the employee. But I can tell you one thing, other than not having to pay for a desk, there is no reason why an employer would want to do remote work. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I'm an old man. That's how I feel about things. Anyway, for Algeria, if you're A+ certified and currently working as a field service tech, self-employed in Algeria, Ali, do me a favor, because this is interesting to me. I'm not familiar with Algeria at all in terms of work environment. And Ali, you got my email address. Send me an email, just say hi, and maybe we could open up a conversation about something like that. If you help me learn, then possibly I can help you too. The best answer I can say is, I don't know. There are plenty of remote jobs that are advertised on LinkedIn. I do know that. Just because I disagree with them, that doesn't make them a bad job. Peter Hunt? Who's Peter Hunt? I'm kidding. Hey, Peter. Good to see you, man. In the workplace, where do you turn to for more info when troubleshooting a problem you can't figure out? Well, you're usually going to go through some form of escalation. Well, that's a big answer. Number one, you guys have the internet, man. When I first started, we didn't have the internet. We used to have these huge reference materials and stuff. Anything that's ever happened to anybody is on the internet. The problem is the questions become more technical, you usually have a harder time finding an answer. Typing in error codes is a huge benefit and something that people need to do. You have to understand, most of the time when I run into a problem, I don't know what to do. I have no idea. I've been at this for 40 years, and I would say 80% of the problems that I run into that don't require a screwdriver, I don't know the answer. I don't have every possible Office 365 error code memorized. I don't know. But I do know that if I see something wrong, I guarantee you there's 1,000 other people who have had the same problem, and the trick is finding them. And Google is your friend in these situations. That's always the best place to go. Within an organization, let's say a help desk organization, if you can't solve it, keep in mind, when you're at a help desk, most of the time you have some type of knowledgeware that's helping you march through it to help figure out what the problem is. So you're not even answering the question. You just have knowledgeware that guides you. You're reading from a screen. Have you pressed Control-Alt-Delete? You know, that kind of a thing. The other thing that really is a benefit when you don't know why something is wrong is that if you understand in as much detail as you can how the thing works, you're often a much closer step to getting an answer you want. So many times people put answers to questions that are highly technical and assume that you have a great amount of knowledge about whatever particular topic it is. And that's where, just because you know how to type a resume in Microsoft Word, that doesn't mean you know Microsoft Word if you're an application support person. You drill into that and you take more training. Then, of course, the other thing you can always do is you can escalate to a tier 2 tech within a organization. That's not uncommon. And then the other thing you can do is show up on our Discord channel. We love this stuff. We have a great Discord channel, and I very much invite you to join us there. We've got hundreds of folks on there. We're always chatting about one thing or another. And Dave Rush will put a post up to our Discord channel, and it's a great place to go. Oh, look at that. Tolowit even made that recommendation already. Yeah, join is it still the unofficial Mike Meyers Discord channel. So we'll see you there, Aaron. Mike, if I get part of a multi-answer PBQ or multiple choice question wrong, does the test count the whole thing? We don't know. CompTIA does not answer that question. We've done our own research, although it's been a few years since we've done it, that seems to show that CompTIA gives partial credit, but I can't make any guarantee, and CompTIA refuses to answer that question. Raving Dave's GPUs as a service sounds dystopian. I agree. Benjamin, Mike, your study method is what I use to pass the A+. Well done, sir. I'll be applying to my first tech position this week, hopefully. Get on it, man. Get cracking, Benjamin. Look, I don't really care about CompTIA. To be honest with you, I don't care. I don't care about certifications. I care about you getting a job. That's like the only thing I care about at night. I sleep like a baby knowing that I have made enough money to pay the rent and have helped people get, I hate to say 1 million, but I'm sure it's over 1 million now, people get jobs. So, Benjamin, the most important thing you can do, I just spoke to a guy today, and he was in Philadelphia, and he was like, so I want to get this cert, and then that cert, and then this other cert, and then a cert. No! Just get a job. Go to work. Poor. The reason I'm laughing is because I give this speech a lot. So, but Benjamin, congratulations to you. Get a job. Sandra Lawson, I'm studying to be a service deck tech, sure. They gave me your videos, and I believe it's the 901, 902. I have your new 10th edition for the one. Yes. Sandra, I got it here. First thing I got to tell you, you have a challenge here, Sandra, and I'm sorry you run into this. Lots of people do. First of all, thank you for being on here, Sandra, because so many people try to go this alone. They're islands, and they make mistakes. Congratulations to you to recognize that there's some kind of issue here and that you're talking to me, so we're going to get you fixed. Sandra, number one, pretty much all certifications are based on an ISO standard, 27,000, ISO 27,000, and then, what's the other one? 8570, Dave, what's that called? IEEE 8570. These are standards that say how often a certification should be updated. And they pretty much all say every 3 years. So that 901 that you're looking at was written 9 years ago and expired 6 years ago. The 1001 was written 6 years. I'm doing the math wrong. You can figure it out. But A, sorry about that. B, I'm glad you're here so we can help you get fixed. And we can help a lot here. But this is the first step. Anytime you're taking a certification, any certification, which certification is current, you go to the certifying body or run into a popular trainer who knows all this stuff. What is the current certification? How much longer is it going to last? That can be very, very important. I have no control. I wish I could just yell at every one of you guys, go check and see what certifications are current. But if you go through those steps going forward, you won't run into as much trouble. But Sandra, please keep coming back. Yeah, that 901, 902 is garbage. And whoever the they is who gave it to you, they need to be punished. Or they're just probably not aware. You have my new 10th edition. It's not new. Hang on a minute. I'm going to grab something. Hang on. Should have had this out. So I don't even write just one A+ book. I write 3 different books. Number 1, I write the all-in-one book, which looks sort of like, this is an old one, but so this is my all-in-one book. This book is designed for self-study people, okay? That's 1. Number 2, I write managing and troubleshooting books. These books are designed for classroom study where you have a teacher. They have lots of end-of-chapter questions, but I'm not allowed to give anybody the questions unless you're from an actual school. And number 3, do I have one laying around? They changed the, oh, here I got one. Number 3, I do the certification Passport series. The Passport series, and this is for A+, Net+, Security+. The Passport series is really designed for somebody who's a pretty good tech already. They probably know 75% of this. We used to call these cram books, although I'd like to think it's a little bit more than that. So even when you say 10th edition, I have to be very careful. Like the current edition for my A+ book, which still isn't even out yet. No one has the 11th edition yet because we can't get it printed. Thanks, Corona. But it should be out within the next month and a half or so. That'll be the 11th edition. This is the 7th edition of the Managing and Troubleshooting. And the Passport books get updated with a new cycle every time. Because that's the way McGraw-Hill wants it. I got no answers other than that. But hopefully, Sandra, hopefully we'll get you in the right path here. So sorry about that. Matt Miles, I'm not much of a gamer either, but I bought a 3060 RTX so that while I'm studying and learning ethical hacking, I can process brute force attacks faster. Are there tools out there that actually use GPUs for processing code? I'm not aware of that. All right, Sandra, hopefully, I'm going to repeat some stuff here. Sandra, this is just for you because I'm worried about you. Sandra, you need 3 things to pass any certification. Number 1, you need a book. The current book that I would recommend that's coming from me, I really like the Managing and Troubleshooting book. It doesn't have all the answers for end-of-chapter questions. Then why would I get it, Mike? Because it's full color and it's easier to read. The questions are more interesting. I don't know, I like it. So number 1, you need a book. Number 2, you need instruction. So get 1101 or 1102 videos. Right now, I think LinkedIn is still giving mine away for free. Hard to beat that. And or you can get on Uudemy, and they're really cheap. You got to catch them at they have sales like every month, and it drops down to like 20 or 40 bucks. Take care of that. And the number 3 thing you need, Sandra, is you need practice questions. At Total Seminars, we sell 2 products that are practice questions. Number 1, we sell what are called the Total Tester, which is multiple choice questions. And number 2, we sell Total Sims, which are the performance-based questions. There's 2 kinds of questions on both CompTIA exams. So Sandra, you know you're going to have to take 2 exams to get an A+. The 220-1101 and the 220-1102. Sorry guys, we get new folks in. I'm going to give them that speech because it's important. So you need those 3 things. Alex, less office gossip and shoulders. Oh, we were talking. Okay. I like office gossip. What's a water cooler for? So I'll tell you what. Just because, let's go ahead and do a quick competition, shall we? Sandra, I'm about to have a competition, and we're going to give away 90-day access to my Total Tester. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to find one moment, please. What time is it? Oh, it's already 3 o'clock. Let's do a quick competition, and we're going to have to call it a day. Sandra Lawson, if you're still here, type in, I'm here. Just literally, seriously, Sandra, type it in. I'm waiting to see if Sandra Lawson types in, I'm here. Okay. Sandra, listen carefully. We're going to do 2 competitions. Dave hates it when I do this, but there's 2. So here's how this competition is going to work. In this competition, I'm going to ask a question to the camera, and the first person who types it in correctly wins. You get 90-day free access to the total tester of your choice. It's an online product, so it's an easy thing for us to do. Okay, you guys ready? Here's question number 1. Everybody ready? What is Sandra Lawson's middle name? Go. I'm serious. That's the first question. What is Sandra Lawson's middle name? I don't think it's Sass, Tolowit. All right, I think we have a winner. It seems that our winner today is Sandra Lawson with the middle name of Marie. Congratulations to you, Sandra Lawson. You have won 90-day free access to the total tester of your choice. Now, Sandra, in order to claim your prize, I need you to send an email to daver@totalsem.com. Sandra, we're going to put all this information in the chat window, but be ready. So put an email to daver@totalsem.com. Sandra, in the email, I want you to put your YouTube name, which is Sandra Lawson. Put your email address in the body of the email, okay? And then number 3, tell us which practice exam you want, and we will get that to you. Come on, guys. I felt bad for the gal. She bought a bunch of stuff that was wrong. Let me cut her a little slack, all right? We'll have a real competition right now. Let's do it for real this time. All right, Sandra, you can't compete for the second one. So here's the other rule. If you're an old geezer and you've won a bunch of times, as you can see, we don't have a lot of people in here, type in pass after your question. Okay, you guys ready? I have the question. Everybody ready? Cat 5e is a standard for what kind of cabling? If you say Ethernet, I'm going to laugh at you. Cat 5e is a standard for what type of cabling? It's not Ethernet. Caden 8P8C is the connectors. Vegas Brent, STP is shielded. Nobody said it right yet. Nobody has said it yet. I want to see better than this. All right. Dang, it's not, I just realized that there's arguments. Come on, guys, read my mind. Look, I can't always have a fair question. There you go. Somebody's written down the right one. Come on, Daniel, aren't you a ringer? Daniel, haven't you won a bunch of times? The right answer is UTP, or unshielded twisted pair. There is an argument that you can have shielded twisted pair at cat ratings, but all right, I'm going to try. All right, you know what? Just for fun, it's already after 3, we got to go. I'm going to give this one to Jason Akumetsu. Jason, I apologize if I'm mauling you. No. Daniel went ahead and passed. Daniel, thank you, brother. I appreciate you passing on that. And Daniel, I'm going to take you off my mental list of people who've won too much, so we'll get it in there. All right, so our second winner today is Jason Akumentu. Jason, same thing with you. Send an email to Dave Rush. That's daver@totalsem.com. Jason, put in your YouTube name, your email address, and which practice exam you want, and congratulations to you for being the winner today. Sandra, I hope we patch things up a little bit there. As a representative of the industry, I always feel bad when people run into that situation. And guys, you know I've done this a bunch of times before, so nobody's given me any trouble about it. Look, if you didn't win, it's real simple. We do this 3 times a week. So, and you can see we don't get a big crowd in here. So if you didn't win, just come back. It's not that hard, and you'll win the next time. And everybody, it's easy money. All right? Hey, Al, good to see you, man. Boy, you are late to the party. Anyway, I am out of here. You guys have a great time. Sandra, enjoy it. Jason, enjoy. Wednesday, we got Steve coming in. We're going to be discussing Active Directory, and we're going to be concentrating on how this looks in a A+ and Network Plus type question. It'll be great. And sorry, whenever Tolowit types, I immediately have to look. So I am out the door here. This is your Uncle Mikey saying bye-bye, and I'll see you guys Wednesday.